got plenty to cover, so let's...
Okay. Look at him taking charge. Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Sports Hub Tailgate. I'm your host, Cody Riedel, alongside Jason Ahrens. And Jason, we have a new face into the mix.
Yes, we do.
All the way from the Windy City, a Hoosier in our midst here, Connor O'Gara, our new Hub sports writer. Connor, it's good to have you on board.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. Well, folks, we got plenty to cover, so Jason, let's hop right into the prep basketball action.
All right, we just got wrapped up with a bunch of conference tournaments. It was a whirlwind, a couple of weeks right there. But we had some champions in the Hub territory, no doubt about it. Starting in the Fort Kearney Conference, in the boys' side, you had Overton, who has been in the FKC Finals for the previous 5 years. They finally get it done. They get the victory over Elm Creek. Coach Jay Stair was very happy with his team's performance. It was led by Tanner Ryan in the first half. He had 15 points in the first half, finished with 18 for the game. But it was a big win for Overton. Elm Creek coach Tanner Cavaney said he was happy with his team's performance as well, but maybe it's the fact that Overton had experience on that big stage out there at the Bureau Event Center that might have played some part in it. But this may not be the end of that because Elm Creek and Overton can eventually meet up in sub-districts. We'll get to that down the road a little bit further here. On the girls' side, it was Eustis Farnham picking up a victory over Amherst. Eustis Farnham girls, they're kind of coming out of nowhere. They were the 5th seed in the conference tournament. They've really turned it on here in the latter part of the season. Sisters Melissa and Mulaney Johnson played very well in the game. Mulaney's down there in the post. She had a big performance. And then Preston Raker, she's another post, but she stepped outside for 3 trays in the game. She ended up, I believe, with 13 points and 14 rebounds in the game. So a big effort from her, and Eustis Farnham was very excited moving down the road. And you've got to feel bad for Amherst. They had a great team. They still do, but a very key piece, Jessica Fernandez, she tore her ACL, and they're in the semifinals. So all of us here at the Sports Hub wishing Jessica a speedy recovery there. And then both the Axtell girls and boys took 3rd place in the consolation games. The Axtell girls, Coach Kelly Cooksley has them coached up pretty well. They're playing well down the stretch as well, getting a big victory over Loomis in the consolation. Connor, I know you were covering the Loop Platte most of the game. You got very familiar with the road to Wood River.
Yes, very, very familiar with that road right down 30 there. I had a good time. It was 3 straight days of a lot of basketball and a lot of Kearney Catholic. Kearney Catholic really impressed in the boys and in the girls. Not really surprisingly, the girls didn't really have too much of competition. Ended up winning the championship game against Ravenna 77-28, and they're just so hard to stop. I mean, to be able to stop 3 6-footers in the starting lineup, you're not really going to find competition like that around this area that's going to be able to limit those girls and what they're able to do. But the Kearney boys had a really exciting finish. In case you missed it, we actually got video of this on the Kearney Hub website right now that you should check out if you haven't yet, of Alex Leese's game-winning layup at the buzzer in the championship game, the Loop Platte conference tournaments. It was one of the more unique things that you will ever see. He actually bounced, he was inbounding the ball in a tie game with 2 seconds left, bounced it off the back of Blake Overmiller of Adams Central and picked it up and laid it in at the buzzer. It was something that I had never seen before, and it was about as exciting as it gets. And Kearney Catholic stays undefeated, and this is a team that obviously is going to look to make a lot of noise come this postseason. They have a starting 5 that is capable of doing some big things, and that defensive pressure is capable of hanging with pretty much anybody that I've seen in this area in my limited time that I've been here. But we'll be expecting Kearney Catholic to continue this run and what they've been able to do in the regular season into the postseason.
Exciting backside buzzer beater. There's no way to beat it.
Yes. Yeah.
Alrighty, Jason. There were some other conference tournaments for our Hub territory teams. How did they pan out?
Yeah, in the Southwest Conference, you had the Minden boys picking up their 4th straight SWC title. The Minden girls took 3rd in that. The Shelton boys lost a squeaker in the championship to Kennesaw. Free throws at the end by Kennesaw got them the victory, so they got 2nd in the TVC conference. And then in the Loop Valley Conference, you had Ansley Litchfield girls and South Loop boys both getting 3rd there. So a nice showing from the Hub territory, kind of all the way around.
All right, now moving off the hardwood onto the wrestling mat. District wrestling is starting this weekend for all classes, so that's coming up. And state wrestling is next weekend. The following weekend is the state dual wrestling. The first time it'll be the first time ever, it'll be hosted here at UNK. The top wrestlers in our area, according to the Nebraska Wrestling Ratings, Kearney High has Kaylin Mazinkowski at 152. In Class B, Lexington's Danny Ibarra. Kearney Catholic has a couple in Class C, top-rated Adam Keating and Thomas Conley. And then in Class D, it's the Amherst Show. They're the #1 rated team, and they have Devin Dibburn, Mason Klingelhofer, and Stuart Hercock, who are the top wrestlers in Class D in their respective weight classes. Kearney High will be competing in the A4 district at Papillion La Vista. Broken Bow, Cozad, Holdridge, and Lexington will be at the B4 district at Sidney. Gibbon, Minden, Shelton, Kennesaw, and Wood River will be at the District C3 in Osceola. District C4 will have Kearney Catholic, Loomis, Bertrand, and Southern Valley. That'll be at Southern Valley. The D1 district will be Franklin and Ravenna. They'll be making a trip up to Columbus. And then the majority of our hub territory teams will be in the D3 district, which is at Cambridge. That district has Alma, Amherst, Ansley Litchfield, Arapahoe, Axtell, Elm Creek, Elwood, Eustis Farnham, Overton, Pleasanton, South Loop, SEM, Will Hill, and a partridge in a pear tree. So that's the wrestling. A lot of guys competing to try to make it to state. Make sure you check the Kearney print edition for Buck's state preview and just following the coverage on who wins districts and moves on to those state championships. So let's transition over to the Storm Hockey now. Connor, you've been covering them ever since you've hopped on here at the Hub. What are your thoughts on the team and what it looks like for them in the future?
Well, right now it's do or die time. They've been playing well recently. They've won 3 out of the last 4 games, but 10 points back of a playoff spot. I mean, that's with 23 games left, that's very tough to overcome. 2 points obviously for a win, 1 point for an overtime loss. Very difficult to be able to kind of get back into the playoff hunt. This is a team that's battled injuries throughout the entire season. They battled the tough injury, the shoulder injury to Brian Ward, who was out for 2 months, and they had problems getting their forwards healthy and back on a rotation. And now they finally have them back and healthy, and they're scoring a lot of goals. They've scored nearly 5 goals in this little 4-game stretch. 5 goals a game, that is. But they've also had these injuries on the defensive side. They had 4 healthy defensemen last weekend, and that's a very hard thing to do when you're playing these back-to-backs, because you got to kind of mix things up and have forwards play a lot more back on defense. So it's been a little bit of a struggle for Storm players to get healthy right now, and I think that's shown. They've also had inconsistency at the goalie position. Johan Madsen is a guy that it was his job to lose, and well, he lost it. Justin Quale has played well in his limited time at goalie. He took over the job about a week ago in a loss to Sioux City, a bad loss to a very struggling Sioux City team. And he took over then and has been in goal ever since. He's picked up a couple nice wins, but that's still a little bit of a wild card. So for the Storm to be able to form a little bit of a run here, this is the time right now to be able to go on a 4 or 5 game winning streak to get back into contention, because it's desperation time, and if they don't get something rolling soon here, they're going to be on the outside looking in.
And this they play on the road this Friday against Lincoln, I believe, and then at home on Saturday against Fargo. So
big chance for them to pick up a couple wins. Need 4 points this weekend. Simple as that.
Alrighty, transitioning now from the hockey rink over to Loper land. A lot of stuff going on over at UNK. Jason, what do you have to throw out to us now?
We're going to run it down real quick.
All right.
Starting with basketball, both men and women, they're kind of sitting at the bottom end of the MIAA conference, and just like the Storm, this is crunch time for the basketball teams. They're both fighting to make it into the MIAA conference tournament. Not everyone gets in, so both teams vying for a spot there. Jumping over to wrestling, the Lopers are still 8th, but this past weekend at home, they dominated Truman and Lindenwood. Picked up big victories there. So hopefully Lopers, now that they're more healthy as the season continues on, they'll continue to dominate and get back up to where they once were ranked top nationally. So, and then track, a lot of winners this past weekend at the Charlie Foster, right here at the UNK arena. Also, half the team went to Lincoln to the Husker Invitational. Tanner Fruit, he broke a 17-year-old record in the 3,000 meter to win that. So congratulations to Tanner. And then Marissa Bongers This is old news now.
Unbelievable.
She goes ahead and breaks her own 800-meter record once again. They're at that invite. Connor had a chance to interview her, did a feature on Marissa earlier in the year. What's her story?
She was an unbelievable basketball player in high school and was somebody that averaged 25 points a game. Could have played some Division II basketball, but decided to pick track, which was a little bit of a surprise for her. And she has developed into an unbelievable athlete. She has broken 3 school records in her first 3 indoor meets. Actually, she ended up breaking the 1,000 meter this past weekend. That was the most recent record that came down, but 800 has gone down, 600 has gone down, now this 1,000 meters, and that is just an incredible accomplishment for somebody that is really coming into her own and somebody that's going to probably be breaking even more records. I mean, that's a thing. She's only a junior right now. I believe she still has 2 more years of eligibility for the indoor season, so big things are ahead and big things are happening right now for Marissa Bongers.
All right, well, it's good to hear the UNK track team is off and running, I guess you could say.
That's good. That's good.
Alrighty, well, that's our show for today. Thanks for stopping by. Make sure you check KearneyHub.com for breaking news. Check the Kearney Hub print edition for the latest sports headlines, and check the Sports Hub blog with Connor, Jason, myself, and also our sports editor Buck Mahoney. Post buzzer-beating videos, other different posts up there. So make sure you check that out as well. So we'll see you next time. Thanks.
With Charter TV's on-the-go content, you can make a date with your favorite movies and shows, anytime and anywhere. Get Charter TV for just $29.99 a month when you bundle.